Hi there, and welcome to another episode of the Christian Women in Business podcast. It's so fantastic to have you here today. Now, for all of our people who love health and wellness, this podcast is for you, or if you're thinking along the lines and you want to be encouraged in your work in the health and wellness sector, then stay tuned because today we are joined for the lady who her biggest mission through her business is helping women and men live integrated lives with a whole health in mind and body spirit mindset. And so this beautiful lady is all about embracing anti-inflammatory lifestyle, which I absolutely love and do myself, and helping people get good energy so we can last throughout the day, crystal clear focus, because we all know what brain fog feels like, and live at that optimal weight and balance blood sugar and all the good things that are good for our body. Her favorite thing to do on the weekends is to worship God and play in nature, which I love. Welcome to the podcast, Lynda Hebert.
Thank you so much, Sarah Jane. Thank you so much for having me.
That's okay. So whereabouts are you in the world?
Okay, so I'm in the United States. I'm in Florida, very south, very southern. It's 87 degrees today. I'm in a small town called Vieira, Florida, Melbourne, Florida. It's on the East Coast. We're about 15 minutes from the ocean.
Oh, that's lovely. So it's nice and warm down there. Do you guys
Nice,
even have a
warm, and
winter?
sunny. We would say we do. Anything below 60 degrees is winter to us. But it's not, it's definitely not a cold winter, but it feels cold to Floridians.
Oh, that's so funny. So I've just moved from, so I lived down in New South Wales, which is the south coast of Australia for many, many years. And it gets
Uh-huh.
cold there in winter. We hit minuses in the Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit.
No.
And then I moved to the UK for 8 months and left the UK in winter. So it was about 0 degrees still. And then I've moved to the Sunshine Coast, which is like a Florida in Australia, and all the locals are saying how it's
Nice.
cooling down, and I'm like it's still 200% humidity and I'm so hot. It's so funny. So there you go. Isn't
Oh,
life
that's
funny?
funny.
Yeah, it
Yes,
was
what you're used
all
to.
relative. Yeah. It was 35 degrees on Sunday, and my housemate, which is Celsius, which is it's hot, and my friend was like, "Oh, we should have a fire, like an outdoor fire." I'm like, "Great, let's get even more hot. Why not?" But apparently, in the Sunshine Coast, if you never take the opportunity, you can't wait till it gets cold because it doesn't. So you just have fires when you want them. I'm like, "Okay, I'll get used to this. I'll get used to this. It's all
Oh,
good."
that's funny.
So, can you share with us how did you get to where you are today? You've got a book, you've had a journey yourself. How's God worked through you in your business? And yeah, how did you get to where you are today?
Well, actually it all started when I was young, when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Little did I know that my story was already starting, that my purpose was already being determined. I was right in the middle of a brother and a sister. So my sister was older, 2 years older, my brother 2 years younger. I adored both of them. My sister and I went everywhere together. Her and I were best friends. And I would say as she entered into her teenage years, I started noticing that she was changing. Her personality was changing. I actually started noticing that her patterns were changing, and I began to feel really uncomfortable around her because I couldn't understand just some of the things that she was doing. So slowly but surely, her mental health completely unraveled, and she was diagnosed with chronic schizophrenia. And it was just devastating to watch her life fall apart. I noticed lots of areas of her life that were just changing, not only in her relationships and her habits. She didn't sleep, she ate a lot of sugar. But she just couldn't I couldn't relate to her anymore, and it was just devastating for me just to watch her life fall apart. And not shortly after that, my brother, who was completely healthy and well, developed a drug addiction, and
Oh,
it just
gosh.
wreaked havoc on his life. And so I was desperately trying to get my brother and sister back to health. I wanted them to be healthy and well, and I really believed that they could change and they could become healthy and well. And it over time, and I prayed, just asked God to heal them, but that wasn't what that wasn't his plan. And so I learned a lot through the process of watching their lives unravel and watching their health fall apart. My brother did get his life back together and when was on his way to law school when he developed leukemia. And that was in
Oh,
his late 20s. And then he developed leukemia and really was battling back pretty bad with it. And then I found out I was a match, not a perfect match, but a close one. And so I gave him my bone marrow. And it actually completely took care of the leukemia. It healed from leukemia, but it just destroyed his body. And he eventually died about a year and a half after I gave him my bone marrow. So I, it was just, it was a time of true, of just great suffering for me. And so I
mm,
began to get very, very honest with God and very, very clear on, asking him to direct me on how does true health happen? How do we get really truly healthy and well? And so it was a long journey. I did get my nursing degree at Ohio State University and went on to be a nurse for a while and worked in all kinds of different types of nursing and into the medical arena. And I eventually realized that there was a better way than treating the actual root, getting to the symptoms, which was most of how our as much as I loved what I learned at Ohio State and loved in my nursing about the human body, it just was amazing, the intelligence, the magnificence of the way God's designed our body and how smart it is and what it can do for us. But out in the medical world, I felt like we didn't really address anything outside of the symptoms and how we can
mm.
fix quick fixes instead of lifestyle changes. And so I poured myself into understanding how to understand how the body works, mind, body, and spirit. And that's where I came to. I began to understand that our mind, body, and spirit work together. We can't separate them. One part of us is not is all equally important. There's no lesser value. Our mind and our body and our spirit. So they're integrated. And each part of us, we need to understand how much of a part we have in creating our own health. So that's my story. And that's what I love to teach people and help people. That's what I love to do. That's what I've written my book about, is that we can learn how to develop transformative lifestyle habits, just powerful, proven, effective lifestyle habits. They're simple, that reverse disease, that prevent disease, and that help us live the full, healthy life, mind, body, and spirit that God intended for us. And they really, really work. And so that's what I love to empower women and men and families to learn how to develop this lifestyle of true health and live in health from the inside out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, at what point did you realize, or did God kind of show you that it's time to put all your knowledge and all that you've learned and all that you love teaching into a book?
Well, it was a process. And I began to and I'm going to be honest with you, during when we had our COVID pandemic, that's when everything really, really hit home for me, that I could see the reality of we do not understand how our body works. We are not supporting our body well. We need to, I understood exactly because I had worked so hard on it myself. So I wanted to tell people, you can empower yourself. You can be your own healthcare provider. I'm not saying that we don't, doctors are great and there are times when we need them and we definitely need to partner with others in our health, but you are your greatest advocate for your health. And so then that's when I decided, I came up with 8 habits, and I used the acrostic strength to help people remember these 8 powerful, proven lifestyle habits. And I poured it all into my book. Strong.
That's awesome. I love that. What a story you've got. And it's just one of those things that life doesn't always go the way that we think it should or the way that we'd liked. But out of something so hard and so confronting and so heartbreaking, you've managed to flip that now and, put it to good, if that makes sense, as much as it's heartbreaking and it hurts and all the things. And I don't think we really ever stop grieving for loved ones, but
Oh, no, no, no.
you've able to, put that into goodness to help others, which is amazing and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. So I'm eager to learn, and I'm sure others are as well. I know you mentioned there was 8, but we just put 5 on the thing. So what 5 tips will you share with us today? Are we going to learn health and fitness? Is it going to be about doing a book? Like, where are we going with
Okay,
this?
so let me tell you the most important thing that we start off with, and this is the truth, is we have truth health comes from the inside out. So we have to get to a place of honesty within our own being. And so that caught for that the first chapter of my book, actually it's the first and second, before I get into the habits, I talk about reflection. Doing self-examination. What are my habits? A lot of people don't even know their lifestyle habits. And am I aligned with my core values? Because that's when we get disease, is when what we say we believe and what we are actually living are not aligned. We're living disintegrated. We're living with a lack of integrity. And our body knows it. And so we're not going to be healthy. So the first thing we have to do is get to a point of doing the reflection, doing the self examination. And I walk people how to do that and getting really clear on being honest with a lot of compassion and curiosity, because judgment always shuts us down, and criticism. So we start with that. And then the very first habit of strength, and this is the most important one, is learn how to sense your own body's signals. Our body is so intuitive and so smart, and it's constantly signaling to us what it needs, what's off. And what happens is we suppress our own body signals. We suppress our own voice. And so we end up with autoimmune disease and, fatigue, and just it goes on and on. And when we learn to pay attention to our body's whispers before they become screams, we can actually learn how to know what our body needs. And it's not that hard. And I teach in my book how to understand your body, your gut, when it's speaking to you. How to understand your respiratory when you're beginning shallow breathing. What does that mean to you? What is that indicating? How to understand when your muscles are tight. What does your body need? And so I give resources and help you first identify how your body is speaking to you, and then learning how to tend to your body's needs. And it's a very empowering way to treat your body, and it works. It really, really does. And then the rest of I'll go 4 other habits. The T in strength is to train your thoughts. We let our mind, we don't realize how important our thought life is. And we need to realize, there's so much research that's been done on our neural pathways. And we are the one that choose our own neural pathways by choosing our thought patterns. And so we've got to get very clear, especially in this day, what are we going to allow into our mind? And how are we going to shift out of mindsets or thought patterns that are not true, that are not in alignment with our core beliefs, and that are toxic, that are actually hurting us? Because our thoughts are the most important aspect of our health. Every thought we think is inside of us. It affects our cells and everything. So training our thoughts, and I lay out exactly how to do that. And it's all a process. We don't try to do everything all at one time. We take little steps, and over time, we actually change. So learning how to train your thoughts. The R in strength is rest. And this one's huge. Really learning how to rest is so important. I call it rest, restore, and replenish. We don't value that. We value productivity, and we don't understand that rest brings us creativity, productivity. So we have to learn how to rest our mind, our body, and our spirit. And it is the most invigorating, beautiful way to live your life. So I lay out how to develop patterns, rhythms of rest in your life. So these are all habits that we're learning to form in our life. So the E is exercise and nutrition. We know that we need to, not exercise and movement. So movement and exercise, I don't even like to call it exercise. I don't like that at all. I like movement. Our body is made, we have limbs, arms, legs. It's made to move. We twist our spine in all different directions. And so we don't move our body like we're designed to. And when we do, we come alive. Everything works well. Our metabolism, our brain health, everything. So I lay out how to learn how to move your body and get into the habit of moving your body. And I talk a lot about habit stack. And then nutrition, that's the N. Goal setting. We need to measure our progress. And the reason why we set goals, it's who we become in the process. So it's great to have goals. It gives us a target, helps us measure our progress, but it's who we come, and we always set them with grace, because our language, the way that we think about ourselves, the way we talk to ourselves, showing ourselves compassion and grace, it's the only way that we can move forward and begin to really trust and feel safe in our own body. And then the last one that I want to focus in on is time with others. It's the T. We have to thrive. We are made to live in community. And so developing a close community of people where we love others and they love us, we're going to thrive in our best health when we are spending time in community.
That's awesome. I love all of those, and I loved some particular words that you used within that just resonate with me personally as well. So I also use the word movement for exercise and say
Mm-hmm.
it's about moving my body. So I lift weights and have just started to get into competitive powerlifting, which means there's a lot of movement and you're moving a lot of heavy things. But when people go, oh, well, what's your goal with that? And, what's the heaviest you want to get to? And I'm like, guys, it's not about the weight. Like, the weight is irrelevant of what I lift. Why I'm doing it is because I want to move my body. When I move my body, that's when my brain feels good. It releases the endorphins. My body feels strong. It's not about whether I'm lifting 50 kilos or 100, even though it is nice to get PBs and, to see your progression and see all your hard work pay off. That is beautiful. But then the day to day, it's the movement, and it's making sure that I'm getting movement in, that I'm doing things that I'm helping my bones stay strong and that my muscles can support my body. I think I'm 37 or I'm 38. I can't remember which one I am. And so I'm about to enter in life the next season of womanhood. I haven't reached it yet, praise Jesus, but I want to make sure that I'm setting my body up now. So when I go through the next stages of life, I'm giving it its best shot. And for me, it's powerlifting and it's lifting heavy. For you, it might be something else. And I also love walking and getting outdoors. So, listeners, I'm not saying you have to go out and powerlift. No way. What I'm saying is find the movement that works for you, that you can keep doing, that you love and you enjoy. I've got a powerlifting competition coming up in May, which I'm really excited for. But once I've gone through this massive strength set, like there's a massive strength period, I'm looking forward to doing some dance lessons. Like, I want to go and dance for a bit. I'm not going to leave powerlifting and I'm not going to stop lifting weights, but I just want to move my body in different ways. And dancing something that's excited me. Like, I've done it at a young age. I've done it a few times as an adult. It's not about the dance. It's about, I enjoy the movement that dance brings. So I want to keep it exciting still. So what is it in your life that you can do that brings you that excitement, that takes you outside, it takes you out your normal, that you can do for you, no one else? I think women need that time for just us. Whether we've got big families
I
or we're just on our own, we still need that time.
love that. And I love that. I love that. The more you
Yeah.
connect with your body, the more you use your body, the more comfortable you are in your body, the more you're familiar with it, and the more you actually love the connection of what your body can do for you. And that all that weightlifting is so good for you. And you're at the perfect age to be doing that. Like, you're doing exactly what you need to be doing, because what you do at 35, 38 is going to impact your so much at how you feel at 48, 58, 68. So strengthening your bones is huge. And you're telling your body, you're telling yourself, you are so important. I'm going to keep you strong. I'm going to keep you healthy. And you're also, like you said, movement's medicine. We feel happy. We're producing dopamine. So I love that. And you're right. There's all different kinds of ways we can move, but lifting weights is super empowering, and it does build our confidence, not only physically, but in other areas as well, too.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. There's been many of things that I've done and made decisions on in my life that have come from building that strength, because like you say, when we
Yeah.
build our strength on the outside, we build strength on the inside, and it's super empowering. I know for me it's been like it's changed my life. I have lifted weights for a long time since I was about 18, but I've had injuries and things along the way, but these past couple of years I've really honed into it, and it's been transformative, not only on the outside but like you say on the inside as well. Just the
I love
confidence that we
that. I
get,
love that.
like
Yes, yes. Congratulations. That's awesome.
and there was also another thing that you said too within sharing your tips that there's a couple of things. One is understanding what our bodies are telling us. So I myself have got a couple of autoimmune things. And for me, what I put in my body either determines whether I wake up with asthma the next day or not. And I just think it's so important to understand autoimmunes, what it is, how they impact our bodies, and how what we put in our mouths determine what can happen the next day. Like for me, that's how like pinpoint it is. So if you are running your business and you're getting that brain fog, or you're getting the asthma or whatever it is, they're just a few things. Like really be I actually like encourage you to pray to God, to ask him to reveal the different things. He's there, he's our companion, he helps us in our spiritual walk, but he can also help us with our bodies, and just really help us identify what it is that we're putting in our bodies that is disagreeing. You can go and get bloods, you can go and do the things, but God can help us as well within this. So that was the other one. And
Yeah,
then
thank you.
oh, sorry. The other one
Well, I
was
was just gonna
goal
say, and
setting.
that's the point. Go ahead.
Oh no, you
Go
go.
ahead.
You go. If
Well,
you go,
that's the
if you've
point
got
of the
something to say
self
with that point, you go.
reflection. What you just said, that's the point of the examination. You have to know what your habits are and be willing to face them, because some of them are not, they might be an okay habit for someone else, but they're not the right habit for you. They're not the right choice and decision for you and your body. So we have to get real clarity on what we're putting into our bodies, what we're putting into our mind, what we're exposing ourselves to, how much or how little, what our body needs. Each one of us is so different. And autoimmune really is our way of our body telling us, hey, pay attention. You need to pay attention, because this is not working well for me. It's confusing me. It's causing chaos in my body. So we can change all of that. And that's what I love about, what you're doing, because when you become aware of what your body needs, you can completely keep, the autoimmune from flaring up and having all of those problems. And, it's such a beautiful way to live in synchrony with your body and your mind, and the Holy Spirit, speaking to you.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so I'm just looking at my notes. My last thing that I love that you said, I mean, it was all great. These are just things that have, jumped out of me as you were talking. And that's setting goals, but setting goals with grace. Like, I really, really love that. And this, I don't think this is just nutrition or movement. It's in business as well. We often set ourselves business goals, and they're good because we, like you said, we can look back on them, and it gives us a starting point to then see how far we've come on the journey. But setting them with grace, I love that. It's okay, we've got these goals. Sometimes things might not go as planned, and that's okay, but we can see the journey, and we can be kind to ourselves in that moment when things might have not gone to plan, or something external's happened, be it in business or be it with your health and wellness walk. But having that grace, I think, allows us to have the mindset of all or nothing. Like, it diminishes the mindset of all or nothing. It's the, okay, something went wrong today. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. We can just pick ourselves up and keep moving forwards, because I'm sure you are like all over this, Lynda, that we often just put ourselves in the all or nothing. Either I'm all in or I'm all out. And, I think adding that grace into it just allows us just to keep consistent, which is what is the key, right?
It is so important. And I love that you're bringing that up, Sarah Jane, because what we really have to do is notice what we're doing well. And it is so against the grain. It's not, it feels, it's not what we feel like doing. But once we choose to say, what are all my wins? What are my wins this week or this month? I like to say daily, what are my wins?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to want to focus on the things you didn't accomplish or the things that didn't go as you hoped for. And when we shift our mind to what did go well, what did happen, then it gives us momentum to keep moving forward and keep having more confidence, trusting in God and remembering, his timing. But, I think that's something we as women, especially ambitious driven women, have to constantly get ourselves back on track with, because we can sabotage ourselves when we begin to entertain thoughts of not getting there, not being where we want to be.
Mm. Yeah. And not recognizing the small wins along the way, right?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, thank you so much for sharing all those points. They've been super amazing, and I have noted them all down, so that's good. We've captured what you'd said. My next question to you, Lynda, is how do you incorporate God into your business?
Well, I first of all, he designed us. We were made in the image of God. He breathed life into Adam, into Eve. So, he is our creator, and we were made to live with a purpose. He's put a purpose in each one of our lives, and we're to steward our body and to steward our purpose. And it just, there's so much that he has created us to do, and we have so much purpose in that. So, and we have a relationship with him. He created us, and so we get the joy of serving God, of becoming the best version of ourselves, and feeling his delight, sensing his delight. So, we have every reason to want to live as healthy and well as we can. And we know that Jesus said he came to give us life, fulfilling life, abundant life. And so that's what he came to give us. And we need to walk in that. But we partner with him through our choices. And so to me, there's no greater purpose than wanting to honor God through our
Yeah.
bodies and through living a healthy life. And there's the spiritual part of us is so important. But everything we do is spiritual. How we eat, how we move our body, what we think about. Um, reading and praying, reading the Bible is huge, because the truth in the Bible is going to always set us free. So we're shifting our mind into the truth, and we're internalizing that truth, helps us so much to live healthy and well. So, he's the creator and sustainer of our lives, and he's the one that gives us the power to live out this healthy lifestyle that he's called us to. And the sky is the limit with the energy that we can experience when we trust in God and we rely on him to live his purpose out through our lives.
That's awesome. I love that. And what's your Bible for this season and why?
What's my
Bible
can
verse
you
for
repeat?
this season
Okay.
and why?
So, I tend to hover around a few verses. Do not grow weary in doing well, for you will reap if you do not. I'm getting a little echo. So sorry. That's why I'm hesitating. So, wearing in doing well. For in due time you will reap if you do not give up. So it's the day to day disciplines where we reap a harvest of righteousness. So getting healthy, being well, it's a day to day discipline. And discipline seems hard at the time, but what it brings us is amazing. And so it's not a quick fix. It's not a, over the night thing. It's a daily doing the right thing. And that's what those two verses, one is in Hebrews about the discipline of the Lord. It might seem hard, but it results in righteousness. And then do not grow weary in doing well in Galatians. We're going to reap a harvest if we don't give up.
That's awesome. I love that. I love the combo of reminding ourselves of the day-to-day disciplines. They do sometimes feel hard and
They do.
relentless,
They
but
do. They feel
you
boring and
know,
hard.
mm, yeah. A great example of that I can give in relation to when we're talking about movement is I had a hip injury. I've had two kind of hip injuries. One, my SI joint was out of whack, so it was pressing on the nerve, which was super painful. And then the other one is I tore the cartilage in my hip joint last year or the year before. Which,
Oh.
oh no, it was last. No, I'm not sure what year. All the years are merging at the minute. Anyway, so within both those injuries meant that I had to basically start at the beginning, which meant, box squats and, all those really
Wow.
simple movements. But they were boring, right? I'm like, come on,
Yes.
this is boring. But I knew that if I stick with those
Yes.
boring things at the beginning and was disciplined with
Yes.
them and did them consistently, that I would get to where I wanted to be, which is what's happened. And so it can be the same in business as well. We have to do these little things that seem ridiculous, that might be painful, and that's usually different with everyone. Like some people it's marketing, other people it's bookkeeping, whatever it is. In the bits that we have to do, just grind ourselves to do them. We have to do it. And within that, good things will come. And, we'll eventually get traction with marketing, or, we can have our tax done at the end of the year and not have to worry about it, whatever it is. But it is in those boring moments in life where we're like, oh, why are we doing this? This sucks. But it's actually, they'll bring us fruit in the end. I love how you shared that.
So good. So true. I love those examples.
So, Lynda, where can our listeners find you on the big wide web? Do you hang out on Facebook, Instagram? Where can they get your book? All the
Well,
things.
I have my website, my name, and I'm gonna spell it for you because you won't know how it's spelled unless I tell you. So Linda, Lynda, the last name comes next, Heb as in boy, ERT. So it's pronounced Linda Hebert, but sounds nothing like it. LYNDAHEBERT or Wild About Wellness is my website. So you'll find my book on there, and first chapter, you can order it. It's a bestseller on Amazon. Strong, Sane, and Sassy, and 8 powerful proven lifestyle habits that transform you from the inside out. And then I'm also on Instagram at Linda, LYNDA underscore HEBERT and you can email me anytime, but you can reach me through my website or through Instagram.
Awesome. All right. And we'll pop those links on the show notes as well when they come out. So you can go grab yourself a copy of Linda's book. Do you ship worldwide?
Pardon me?
Do you ship worldwide with your book, or is
Yes.
it accessible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
So you can get
There
it
you
on
go.
Amazon, or you can just tell me you want it, and I'll ship it right to you.
There you go. Awesome. All right, listeners. So if you wanted to get in contact with Lynda, please go ahead. Please support Lynda by buying her book. And it's been an absolute pleasure to interview you and hear a bit about your story. I'm sure there's so much more to it than what you shared today. But thank you so much for all that you're doing for all the humans out there, getting them to move their bodies and really look after themselves. And we just wish you all the best with everything that's still to come.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being here and our conversation together.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, I'm SJ, and you're listening to the Christian Women in Business podcast, and we'll catch you next time.